I have something to confess. I was wrong. I know, unheard of. Me? Wrong? Yes, and I admit it. Cursed Puppeteer Cream is a god compared to every other unit in this game. I'd say that this thing even comes close to rivaling an admin unit. What the hell is she on? I don't mean to question the person who designed and balanced her, but dear God, what is that thing? Okay, let's get into the beast that is Puppeteer Cream. Before anything, let's go back to what I said about her in my tier list video and correct what was wrong about what I said. Look, she has a really cool design and I love it, but she is by far the worst Unleashed. She's actually the best Unleashed as of me recording this, and I think she needs a nerf. Her damage is negligible because of her very high cooldown, and the fact that she's single target. The buff she gives is nullified by the fact that it nerfs everyone's range by 15%. Most towers in this game don't have much range, so it's not worth it. Her passive, making pretty much all enemies in her range take 5% poison damage and 10% slowness, isn't even noticeable. I think the only thing I got right here was what I said about the 10% slowness, and even then, because the way her passive works, it does kind of help her. But to be honest, you really can't notice it, and it doesn't make that much of a difference. So let's start by correcting what I said about her damage. Base Cursed Puppeteer Cream, with no buffs or traits, has a DPS of 187.5, not including her passive. Her passive gives her 5% poison damage to pretty much everyone in her range, giving her a full AoE attack on top of her single target attack. Now, it doesn't say the tick rate of this poison damage, but after playing with her, I'm just going to assume it ticks once every second. With that assumption, her poison damage has a DPS of 37.5. Again, with no buffs or traits. Nothing to write home about, right? This is until you remember that its damage is full AoE, it's constant even when she's stunned. She has that single target damage on top of it, her slow makes enemies stay in her range for just a little longer, making them take more of that poison damage, and it lingers for a few seconds once enemies finally do get out of her range. Oh, and did I mention she has one of, if not the highest range stat in the game? Literally the only thing that can get past her is bosses when she has a good trait. And even then, the strongest boss in the game barely got past mine with just 4k HP left. You know how little that is? If I just used my Amy to assist the boss, it would have died. She can almost solo Christmas Act 3 with a good trait and buffers. This unit should have a rarity higher than Unleashed at this point if they don't nerf her soon. Oh, and about her buff? That 15% range nerf means nothing with the massive value she gives, and you can even get rid of this nerf by just bringing a cream and cheese, yes the buff stack, or just using units with a high range stat. With all of this being said, let's move on to the new updated tier list. I'll talk about everyone that has moved and why they moved. Cursed Puppeteer Cream. After watching this video, this should be self-explanatory. But if you skip to this part because you're only interested in the tier list, then just know she's broken. Snow Brawler Knuckles. You remember how I said he could be good with telekinesis? Yeah, well he is. Very good. I didn't think it affected bosses, but this note in changelogs proves me wrong. Huge thank you to Telekinesis Lover for pointing this out to me. Amy. She's kind of been the only starter I've been using since the last tier list video I made. She's just so cheap and so good. She can even be used as a starter in the hardest stage we have right now, Christmas Act 3. Maybe I'm glazing a bit, but I just can't see a reason not to move her a little higher. Amy the Bat. Really the only reason I'm moving her down is because Snow Brawler Knuckles just kind of does a better job keeping those bosses busy than she does. She's still good, don't get me wrong, but she's definitely falling a bit. Rouge the Witch. Yeah, I was 100% glazing her last tier list. She's still amazing, better than Amy is, but she just isn't as good as Amy at the start of the round. She's better later in the round than Amy or even Engineer Tails, so if you're looking for a starter that will keep you alive early in the stage and still do good damage later in the stage, then this is your unit. Engineer Tails. That startup time he needs is very painful, tied with the fact he's also single target makes him subpar in my opinion. The only time he's really good is if you get his last upgrade so he gets all his turrets down, and if you've ever used him then you know how expensive that is early game. Chili Dog Stand. After its recent buff, it's now actually useful. Instead of being only used to sink a lot of money into and later get big returns in late game, which you don't even need in this game, its new passive lets you get more money early game. So Biggie Claws isn't the only viable farm unit now. The Sonics. After comparing them to Snowbrawler Amy and Skelenik, I just had to at the very least put them in a tier above those two. They are so bad. A quick thank you to these two. They spoke about Cursed Puppeteer Cream being much stronger than I had thought pretty early, bringing my attention to her, and ultimately being the reason why I made this video. Another quick thank you to EST. I don't actually have a reason to thank him this time, I just felt like it.
These are Nutter Butters.